The street and stimulus. One analyst today says what I have been saying in private, that Wall Street's a little bit too cushy, about where the election results are, where the economy could be going, and where the stimulus relief could be coming as well. A little too cushy. May need a pill. May need to take away the pill. So, we all like a nice sleep, but this may not be the time to cue Mr. Pillow. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Street and Stimulus, in which we go over what Wall Street's thought is about stimulus and how Wall Street is predicting when and where and in what manner and how big and how small your stimulus will be. Wall Street generally has it right, and this is the purpose of Street and Stimulus. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, because I'm bringing you incredible recordings across the board and delivering you new shows every day. And the two new series debuting in the last 24 hours are Holidays, LALATE at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, and Being a Bitch, which returned just minutes before this recording. I'm so glad you joined us. It's going to be a great day. If you've not subscribed, please do. And also like this video, because it really helps in the algorithm. In this video, I'll be going over the concern about being comfy. Not that comfy near the fireplace. I mean, Wall Street being too comfy about situations of the election and stimulus, and why one analyst is actually saying exactly what I've been saying in private to people about what I think could be unfolding and how I hope it doesn't happen, but it may very well happen. I'll additionally have new data that's coming out about job growth and why job growth is stalling, and why the need for second stimulus and third stimulus. And then finally, I'll be going over what one big analyst is saying about why you should not predict anything just yet. People are a little bit too quick to anticipate what's happening in the next few days. Interesting. All right, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as we sit here today is that Wall Street's apparently getting a little too cushy. A little too cushy. And this is amid concerns that Wall Street has just been sort of expecting everything to be sort of wrapped up in a bow. Let me explain what's going on. Wall Street believes that there's a Biden win in the presidency, that the Senate is now Republican, and that the House is Democratic, that there will be no taxes increased, there'll be no breakup of tech companies, there will be no massive regulation of medicine, and that all of the things that we were concerned about are not going to happen. Interesting. Well, one big analyst minutes ago on CNBC said exactly what I've been saying to people in private, which is the following. That's a little bit too cushy a belief. I'm going to tell you why. This is my opinion. The concern is that the minute in which there's a contested election, the minute in which the election results are announced, and it's potentially a 270 Biden win, that Vice President Joe Biden has reached 270, the Electoral College minimum to become the president, and that several networks confirm that Joe Biden is 270, there is the concern that was there about a week ago on Wall Street, but is suddenly gone now, but is not gone in my mind, and hence why I'm not cushy, that President Trump may not accept those election results. Contested elections does not mean I'm just going to court and contesting the results in Michigan, and I'm contesting the results in Pennsylvania, which the president has already announced. Contested elections also mean I'm not leaving. You think Joe Biden won? Well, I don't think I think I won. And guess what? I'm not leaving. Well, there's inauguration day tomorrow. Guess what? I'm not leaving. Now, I'm not saying the president's done that. I'm not saying the president has done that. I'm not saying the president will do that. But the concern that the president would do that was in Wall Street upwards of 2 weeks ago. And suddenly now the concern is not there. In fact, one of the analysts on CNBC this morning said, well, we're very optimistic there'll be a peaceful transfer of power. Okay. Why did you become optimistic? I'm not to say that I'm pessimistic that there's a peaceful transfer of power, but what I'm saying to you is that the slight inclination that perhaps there is not a peaceful transfer of power, or that one person does not accept the presidential results, whether it's Joe Biden or the president himself, that ultimately Wall Street may crash. And that could take stimulus and everything else off the map. It's that type of lack of comfiness that I'm very deeply concerned. Let me explain what may be going on, which people don't often explain to people. You know, Wall Street's a little bit different than it was 2 years ago. There are apps now that very young kids can play on their phones and buy a few shares. And they can buy the shares and sell the shares, and buy the shares and sell the shares. And they do that all day long. And they never really hold the shares. They're just continually going in and out of the shares. And they may be playing games on the belief that everything is so cushy, that we know everything now and everything is done. That's a little too optimistic. And so let me tell you what one analyst says about this, because this is very key for your stimulus. Ultimately, if you believe stimulus is coming because the GOP took the Senate and that Nancy and the Democrats held the House, and that everything is going to get passed right away because everyone's telling us everything, and that there's no turmoil in the White House. Everything is just totally fine. You know, the moving trucks will come if they need to come, or if they don't need to come, they won't come, and everything is totally fine. One analyst said, don't be so cushy in your thoughts. Wells Fargo Securities analyst Christopher Harvey says he would not buy anything in this post-election fade, and he says we're a little too cushy. You want to fade this rally, meaning let the excitement, the stock market's up 1,000 points in 48 hours. You want this to fade. It's about stimulus. This is his exact words. Christopher Harvey, Wells Fargo's chief head of strategy. So this is the number one guy at Wells Fargo for stock trading, says you want to fade this rally, let it settle down. It's about stimulus. We now have what we believe is a Joe Biden as president and no longer a blue wave. Whatever the stimulus you thought you would get, you have to shrink it down. Harvey believes that Wall Street has not come to terms with that. Okay. The market feels comfortable with what we have at this juncture, says Harvey. Some of the magnitude is a little bit off to us. The outperformance that we've seen today is exceptional, meaning he says it's too big. The fact that the market's up 1,000 points in 48 hours, he says, is a little bit too exuberant. It's too excited. You need to settle down. He says and let me explain this for you in stimulus terms. He's not saying you're not going to get stimulus. He's saying you are going to get stimulus, but he says the magnitude of the stimulus is not going to be 3.4 trillion. It's not going to be It's not going to be Joe Biden's $7 trillion bill. If you did not see my Being in a Mitch video right before this, in which Nancy Pelosi says, I'm so excited that now we can work on an infrastructure bill. That's what he's referring to. There's never going to be an infrastructure bill. That's Joe Biden's $7.1 trillion infrastructure bill. The Senate is never going to give anything of $7 trillion to anyone. I don't care whether it's, cutting your hair. No one's going to get $7 trillion for anyone. There's Republicans in the Senate. They don't spend $7 trillion. It's as simple as that. So today, Nancy Pelosi is excited that a $7 trillion bill is going to be passed in the Senate. No, it's not. You lost the Senate. So what he's saying, Harvey, is that Wall Street is not dialed in to understand that things you thought were going to happen, like a $7 trillion infrastructure bill, are not happening. We will have stimulus, but it won't be 3.4 trillion. It'll be problem solvers like stimulus. It'll be 1.5. It'll be stimulus checks to you. It won't be bailouts to Gavin and Andrew at $900 billion. You see how this is so important for stimulus. Some of the magnitude is a little bit off to us. The outperformance we see today is exceptional. People are really running with the idea that we're going to face some kind of a lockdown. That's our view. Our view is we're going to have some sort of COVID solution before the end of the year. Okay, I don't subscribe to that at all. I don't believe the therapeutic for the virus or the vaccine for the virus will be in mass distribution by December. So his statement that we may not need a lot of third stimulus, that third stimulus could end in January, is also too comfy. I don't think you'll see mass distribution of the virus's therapeutic or vaccine until March of next year. And if that's the case, You need third stimulus to March of next year. You can't stop stimulus in December. Again, this is Temple Doom's idea that she can just give you second stimulus and have you wing it after December. No. Long term, we think it's pretty good. What's long term? 10 years from now? Yeah, I think it's pretty good 10 years from now. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Long term, 6 months from now? Yeah. Long term, 6 weeks from now? No. It's not good. We need stimulus. You see why I turn to these incredible remarks, because these incredible remarks show you where we are. The important thing as we sit here today is that jobs numbers are not particularly good. Job growth is expected to slow in October, and rehirings have dropped off, reports CNBC. Job growth is expected to total 530,000 in October, and the unemployment rate is expected to fall to 7.1, according to Dow Jones. That would represent a decline of 150,000 of public sector jobs. These are government jobs, like public works and traffic and things like that. That compares to 661,000 jobs created in September. And the unemployment rate is 7.9. The employment number release is 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So the Dow Jones is predicting the jobs number. This is not the jobless number, which is on Thursday. This is the jobs number. Did I say that right? This is not the jobless number, which is released on Thursdays. This is the jobs number, which is released once a month. It's expected to not be a good number. We expect a solid increase of 800,000 non-payroll jobs, but we're expecting continued notable decline in jobless claims after accounting for a shift of regular state programs to federal unemployment programs, a city economist says. The unemployment rate should fall further to 7.6 without the potential modest increase in participation rate. What's important to understand when you're hearing those numbers is that he's saying that, and I talked about this a little bit on the channel, is that the jobless numbers are dropping because people are running out of UI benefits. They're running out of UI benefits, so they have to go on PUA. So they're jumping from the state benefits to PUA, which is federal, because they have to federal PUA because they have no more weeks of benefits. So they are saying, don't believe the Thursday numbers every Thursday because they're a false narrative. You need to look at the job creation number, and that will be not so good. And so with that means A, more stimulus, B, second stimulus, C, third stimulus, D, did I skip C? If I skip C, I'm sorry. It's with the hairstylist. If I skip D, the important thing to understand is that it needs to get out quickly, pretty soon, because they're seeing the decline in September. We're in November. We're looking at numbers from September. It shows a decline. That means the impact of first stimulus is no longer felt on this economy as of September. Let me go with some incredible questions and comments from yesterday's video. Brandon, thank you so much, LA, for taking the time to explain everything so that people can understand. Purple Power. I appreciate that. That's one of the original focuses of the channel, is to make things very basic for people so that everyone can understand this, whether you're young or old, educated or non-educated, whether you're in the markets or not in the markets. So everyone can understand this, because ultimately now knowledge is power. And things can be explained in a simple way. Mopped coin. It means the government people don't care about us. Melissa, when are we going to get the stimulus? Linda, they haven't let anyone know who wins the president yet. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Renee Smith, happy evening, Purple Power family. Tona, good evening, LA and Purple Power. Hello, Tona. Danny, right next to Tona. Hello, fingers crossed for Mitch's stimulus plans does include stimulus checks. Melody, smile, we get our way. David, we need the stimulus, Purple Power now. Sandra, good evening, Purple Power family. Good evening, Tasha. I really appreciate all the hard work you've done these past few months, and I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would also like to thank all the people who have fought with all of us there in Purple Power. That's Tasha Alaya from Bronx, New York. Well, hello, Bronx, New York, and Tasha. Thank you for those wonderful comments 21 hours ago. Thank you so much. I want to really appreciate all the hard work you've done for the past few months. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. That's really quite nice. Calling blessings to all, purple all the way. Martha Taylor, good evening, Purple Power family. Joseph, it's time the American people get the money they need. And Lisa, good evening, LALATE and the Purple Power family. Good evening, Lisa. If you have questions or comments in today's video, drop them in the comments below. I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. Coming up next is Evening's LALATE. And don't miss every morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, early mornings LALATE. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LALATE for more.